welcome to all of you to the Braving Your Dreams. This is an online live, but if you're watching this, obviously, as a recording later on, hopefully you still get something out of it in the journey. And here we go. Right. So my name is Rupda. I think I know most of you here, but in case you're watching and this is your first time meeting me, um, just to say a few sentences that I was very fortunate enough to be born in the 60s to a mother that was very alternative and liked Tibetan Buddhism. So already in the mid 70s, we were meditating. We were very much involved in a personal development journey, to put it in a very simple context. But I joined a commune. I was in a Tibetan monastery, and I grew up in that until my 20s. So I've had a lot of different educations around personal developments and self-development, self-awareness, conscious, way of living and being in a community with people. And I'm not going too deep down that right now because, of course, there's a big story there. But my background is definitely in, how we grow and learn and develop as human beings. And that's Mom. She's such a sweetheart. Okay, so in the Braving Your Dreams, I wrote here, if you don't prioritize following your joy, you can find yourself getting stuck in surviving mode. And the fear of stepping out of that comfort zone can keep you held back from actually braving your dreams. And the Braving Your Dreams is a title, by the way, I just want to say that really is resonant to that step that we take inside ourselves, to be courageous, to step outside of the known or the fearful mind or this survival mode, so to speak. So how do we get out of this survival mode? And just want to say briefly for those watching right now live, if you have your mic on, if you could turn it off in case we get some background noise, because I already caught something there. And so if you're just tuning in, please make sure you grab a pen and paper. And if you do have a few sheets of paper, that would be great, in case we get a little creative here. So actually, before we jump into this, I want to just say a little bit more because I want to give you a little bit of context in this journey, which is in regards to how people make things happen in their life. Everybody's going to have a different way of how they manifest. That's the way I want to say it right now. It might be for some people working hard. It might be for some people very step by step how to. It might be influenced by other people. It might be someone teaching you how to, and so on. There is an element in this work that I really want to name, which is something that feels beyond the sort of sphere of control. And for me to name it is really to say what is already known, which is the law of attraction. And if you're someone who already has a sense of it, great. If you're someone who already is using it in some context, wonderful. If you're someone who's cynical or on the sidelines and unsure, this is where I really want to hopefully give you some some story around it that can support you and also open your eyes a little bit to the potential of this work. And it's because it's so powerful. And this is what I want to give you a little bit of as we go. So before we jump in into some of that with you, I'd like for you to take a few minutes right now and write in your somewhere on your paper, maybe even on the left side of that paper, where you would like to move towards in your life. What would you like to invite into your life? This is important, of course, because we have to have some clarity. If we have no clarity, then it's kind of, nebulous. It's blurry. It won't give you the clarity you need in order to move towards something. So I put a few examples here. If you're in a relationship, maybe you would like more intimacy and romance. Or if you're not in a relationship, maybe you would like to meet somebody, as well as, of course, health. And feeling like your body's in balance, maybe that you can sleep at night, or that you don't get anxious so easily, or that you learn how to rest. Or perhaps it's just simply to have financial relaxation, which is a big one for some people, or having more time, or learning something new, or overcoming a fear or a habit or a belief. Yeah. So I'm going to just give you a few minutes. And if you want, on one side of your piece of paper, maybe it's only one thing that you know for sure. I want this I want to invite more of this in my life. Maybe it's a few things, but see if you can get a bit specific on it. So, for example, when I wanted to have when I wanted to buy a house, I got specific on where that house was, or how many bedrooms that house was, and even the location of it. And that was really courageous of me to do because I was pretty scared. First of all, I had to work with the feelings I had around it, which was, do I even deserve to have the house? So before you go into any of the feelings, please just go for what it is you'd like to manifest. And we're going to play with this a bit. I'll take a few more minutes. I want to share a little bit of a personal story here. Um, and um, I'm just not sure how far I should go into the story. I'm going to just give you the short version because this piece around wanting a relationship or wanting to have financial relaxation or financial freedom or even wanting to find a house, I had to do a lot of inner work around my self-worth. I didn't know that that was going to be my biggest obstacle, but it turned out for me, it was my biggest obstacle. And the piece around my unworthiness was so big. And I didn't know that part of that, of course, comes from my mother, who was the person who was part of raising me, and the way that she spoke about money and the way that she spoke about having things or even her self-worth really, of course, influenced me. And then, of course, how she was with me as a parent, and I don't need to go into that whole story, also shaped a lot of my own self-worth. And I'm naming that because anytime I would see anything around abundance and prosperity or having the kind of lifestyle that I want, I would always believe that it was real outside of myself. So of course I needed to flip the switch on this, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But one of the biggest things that happened to me in this work that we're doing right now is how I started to focus on what I want, how that started to change the way that the things that I wanted, my relationship to them, started to change based on my feelings. And it was the biggest momentum that I got was how I felt about something. Because I went from feeling a negative self-talk about Rupda into a positive self-talk about what it is I wanted. And this is what I'm hoping now that we're going to start to explore. And we're going to go on a bit of a journey together to impart with you all. Yeah. So in this next slide, I'd like you to write some of the obstacles that you recognize in your own life that are between you and having whatever it is that you have put down on that piece of paper. And maybe it's a fear or an insecurity. I could also put there an unworthiness was mine, a big unworthiness piece in there, the story I was telling myself, negative beliefs, and maybe it's low finances or little time, or you carry too much responsibility or lack of resources. If you could take just a minute just to write one or two of what you can really recognize. You don't need to go too much into the story of it. You know that story quite well. And of course, having a sense of what it is going to help. I want to show you a slide of one of the most obvious ones, which is the negative self-talk. And some of you might even recognize these. You're never going to be enough. That's the classic. I work with people now all around the world, and that's one of the biggest ones. If you dig a little deeper, that's the sentence most people will hit. Yeah. And who do you think you are? Another one. And if you're trying to find a relationship, no one's ever going to love you. That can be a belief for some people. That inner self-talk is can be so damaging and so destructive that it can sabotage you from actually believing it's possible for you to really, have this experience or, move towards something you want or have something in particular. Yeah. And the power of thoughts, I think we all know this. This is very famous with this Japanese doctor, Emoto, who studied thoughts and how they affect us. And we're made up of a lot of water. So it was powerful to see in his studies that just by words, it could change the constitution of these little molecular structures. And you can see the ones where it says, "You make me sick" on the bottom left, how shockingly different that is to something like "I love you." Mm. So I thought that was impressive. So same study happened with kids. When they went into his classroom, they would put one plant on one side, one plant on another side, and the kids spoke positively to one plant, negatively to another plant, feeding it the same amount of water every week. And this is what happened. So it was amazing. Now, I can't say enough about thoughts. I can't say enough about the words that we speak. I think we all know this. We've all been on this planet now long enough to get that. And yet it really has a powerful impact on how we do life, yeah, and how we bring things into our life. This is a slide I've shown before last year, and I'm leaving it here partly because some people like to take a screenshot of it. I don't want to go too much into it, but essentially, everything we do is a decision. And by not taking action, we remain where we are. By taking action, we might fail or we might break out of a pattern. And either way, we can try again, or a new experience is created, or a new belief has happened. And ultimately, we're following our joy. Yeah. So, this is a step I want you to do before we go any further. I'm hoping you all have a blank piece of paper, another one. Because what I'd like to do with you beauties is I'd like to ask you to take at least 5 minutes, if not 10, where you can write down the things that you would want to move towards, what brings you joy. You see in the big circle on an A4 piece of paper. And I can't give you an example of mine. Shit, I didn't bring mine with me, but in that sense of the circle, one of the things I put in last year is I want to love with an open heart. It was very simple. I've manifested so much in my life that I feel like I've got a lot already. So one of the things I put into that center of that circle is wanting to love with an open heart. And then I put all the qualities around inside of that circle of what that might be. Vulnerability, might be joy, might be playfulness, might be trust, might be courage. And everything in that little circle, I put what I want to let go of, or any negative beliefs or things that hinder me from having that experience. So if you will, please take a little bit of time to take that piece of paper. If you've got an A4, even better, because this is something I hope that you actually will put up on your wall and see on a regular basis. Yeah. Okay, let's begin. And please have fun with it, huh? If you're scared of braving, take a step. Yeah? Let yourself really have that step. I can't find mine. See that here. Nope. Take a couple more minutes. Okay, I'm gonna slowly wrap up. And of course, if you're still got more on there, you can definitely elaborate on it. Um, I'm gonna show you what I do each each year. I've never really exposed this to anyone, but I'm gonna do it because I think it's nice to show. And I think many of us have done things like this, but I've been doing it for almost 30 years. And and partly why, because I I I have been somebody who really likes to see things in my hands, but I've also been somebody who has really given recognition to what we don't see, yeah, the spiritual dimension of being human. And I say that because I think we've all had these serendipitous moments. I think we've all had these, wow, how the bleep did that just happen? And then when I started discovering that you can actually play with this is what started to change for me. So I'm going to give you one of the stories that blew me away, and from that moment on, changed my life, which is when I moved to Australia. Um, Nobody knew me in the system. I didn't have a job there. I didn't pay taxes there. I just moved. And so on paper, I looked like crap. So, nevertheless, I decided I wanted to buy a house. I had just sold my house in San Francisco. Probably shouldn't have sold it 25 something years ago, but I did. I didn't get much for it, but I had a down payment. I was super excited. And the down payment was just enough to 10% of the house. And not even, sorry, 5%, not even. I don't know what it was. It wasn't enough because the bank said no. And I was in a little town in Australia and I was asking my friends, and they said, try another bank. So I tried another bank, and that bank said no. And on paper, I just didn't look enough, and I was feeling a little bit disheartened. So I tried another bank, and then that bank said no. And then I started to see that these banks are not saying yes to me. And there's not a lot of banks in Australia. And so one day somebody said, why don't you draw it on a piece of paper what you want to manifest? So I did it. And I put on a piece of paper a drawing of a pencil drawing of the house, and I put it on the wall. And then I started to look at this piece of paper, and I didn't know what the how was in having the house or getting the house, getting the loan, but I had to just focus on the house. Now, of course, nothing actually happened. This went on for days, weeks, but I didn't give up. And another bank said no, and another bank said no, and 17 banks said no. Now, most people would say, Rupta, get the fuck out of there. What are you doing? This is crazy. Sorry. If you're just meeting me for the first time, I swear a little bit in case you're shocked. But um, so I decided to go even further, and I put paper everywhere around my room. And I was only living in a little room. It was all I could afford because I didn't want to spend the money that I was going to buy the house with. And what I did is I imagined that the woman in the real estate agency was running down the hallway going, Rupta, I've got your keys. You got the house. Oh my God. And I was like, wow, I got the house. I don't know how that was possible. Everything was working against me and I got the house. So as ridiculous as it was, because anyone in their rational mind would say, this is ridiculous. You don't have this, and this. I was just focusing on the feeling of the outcome. And this was the game changer for me, the feeling of having it. And this is what I have to say again and again and again to people, that feeling of having it, not to focus, not get stuck in the how. Of course, what ended up happening, the 18th call that I got, the bank said yes. It wasn't a bank, it was a loan agent. I don't know what you call these people, but I got a yes and I got that house. So from that moment on, I started playing with exploring this manifesting, to brave my dreams, to dare to ask for what I want, to say, yes, okay, I want to step into this work. I want to, meet a partner who will meet me in my heart in a deeper way, who has a spiritual path, whatever it is, that loves to grow internally as well as externally. I want someone who will meet me and love to travel. So I started playing with this. This is really important because I had been sabotaging myself that that's even possible. And I completely turned the wheel around and started to make it happen. So I want to say something to this place. If we come out of fear, if we think out of fear, we already set ourselves up for sabotaging ourselves. I'm never going to be creative. I'm never going to be able to write that book. I'm never going to be able to lose that weight. Whatever it is that you are wanting to intend for in your life, you're already sabotaging when the vibration of fear is so low, but the vibration of creativity is so high. So I just started creating. And one of my biggest pastimes is to take this pen from my iPad and draw and draw and draw and draw. And I do it again and again and again, what it is I want to manifest. So I will show you now what that looks like. I'm a bit shy, if I'm honest, because I've never shown it to before, but I think it's beautiful and powerful, and I've been doing it for almost 30 years. Um, let's see where we go. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Let me get rid of this person here. Um, so it's it's uh it's already happening, if I'm honest. But what I want to say to this is 2 years ago, actually 3 years ago, when I got out of Australia, meaning we got stuck in COVID. And I say stuck because we couldn't travel. I was happy being there, but for 2 years I could not travel. I was in Australia, and by the end of 2022, going into 2023, I had said I want to start again this retreat that I had created before COVID, called Deep Dive, and I want to make it happen. So in 2024, I launched Deep Dive again, and it happened. I thought it was going to happen 2 or 3 times. I think it ended up happening 3, 4, 5 times that year. And then last year, or this year, I should say, it happened twice as much. So it already has been manifesting. And of course I put energy behind it. Of course I have an intention, but I have clarity in what I really want to manifest. I have a clarity. I put here now, I wanted to reach 500 hearts. That might be a big dream for me, but I'm putting that out to the universe. And what I love about how the universe works is if you put out something, if you dare to brave your dreams and say, yes, I want to really make this happen, and you get a little bit clear about what that might even look like or feel like, even more importantly, then what happens is serendipitously, the universe puts the right person in front of you, the right phone call or the right connection or the right meeting or the right, you're like, wow. I just a week ago I was saying I wanted to meet somebody who could teach me Spanish. Next thing I know, here you are, you know and I was just speaking to someone now about wanting to move to the Mediterranean, and next thing I know, a week later, now I'm moving to the Mediterranean, and it happens. And so this is something, of course, I put a bit of intention. I meditate every morning. I play with visualization. I love visualization. I love the feelings of having it, while having that experience of, love making with my partner, or, speaking in front of a lot of people and laughing together and playing, or feeling good in my body. Everything is like I preview it inside of me. And I got that beautiful quote, imagination is, just a preview of things to come, from Einstein. And I really landed in my body when I got that everything around, imagining this beautiful travel journey of growing in my work and manifesting, and you know that it if I feel it, I can start to invite it, start to make it actualize. Yeah. Another example of that is being in Greece and saying, wow, I want to go to Latin America because my mom lives in San Francisco. And I knew that I was not going to go back to America. And that's just a personal choice of mine. My mom's there. I miss her, but I didn't want to go back to America. And a lady who entered my retreat in Greece, it lives in Mexico. And she said, come to Mexico. So it's amazing. If you really start to energetically ask for something and you have intention, of course, you bring it into states of feelings. I'm a passionate person, so I write it down. As you can see right here, what I'm showing you is one of many, many different creations I've done over the many different years. Yeah. But not to be underestimated, the power of this visualization. It's changed my life. So I'm going to come back and I show you that because I wanted to show you the power of this calling in, this energetic calling in, and this the frequency of the heart. Yeah. So I'll go a bit more forward now. And any questions so far? See if I can get this going. You guys are all very sweet. Okay.
I have a question. How often do you update this? You said you started it 3 years ago. Do you revisit the same one every year, or do you create a different
Oh, no.
variation of it?
I do it twice a year, every solstice. Did
Great.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No,
it's
that's fantastic.
yeah. I recognize that voice, but I can't see the
Oh,
screen.
sorry. It's Keji. I was on Deep Dive in Porto a few weeks ago. Thank you for
Oh,
doing
hi,
this.
Kechi. Oh,
Hi.
that's so great. Oh, I love it. Wow. Um, I think we're going to give you this anyway. I don't know if we can give the slides, but if you want to take a screenshot, but this is beautiful to take a 21-day challenge. This can be in anything, yeah? If you're not a meditator, but you're someone who likes to call yourself spiritual and evolved and, preaching spirituality, and you're not meditating, I want to challenge you and say, sit and meditate. Because it's actually a big part of what, landing in ourselves, coming home to ourselves, being in touch with ourselves, aligning to ourselves, listening to ourselves, being with ourselves. All of this just becomes words if we don't slow down and connect to ourselves. Yeah. So please, please, if you're really, serious about taking a step for anything that you want to do for yourself in an intimate way to develop yourself to grow or expand in something, I highly recommend it. Even just sitting for 5 minutes a day and letting yourself sit with a particular feeling of a joy or a gratitude or a movement or even a dance, is a kind of form of a meditation to be with yourself. That's the most important thing, especially now with so much stimulation out there in the world that there's very little time for self. Yeah. And as we go from doing mode into listening mode, we can actually really tune in to these qualities that we want to embody or these beautiful experiences that we want to have. Yeah. That takes practice. So I would highly recommend it. And the 21-day challenge is just something we can give to ourselves, as a way to kind of bring it into form. Yeah.
Rupda, we just have a question in.
Oh, yeah, please.
Prajita's wondering if you can also manifest to get rid of something.
Well, in manifesting to get rid of, you're focusing on what would be the counter to that. I don't know who asked, but would they be okay to say?
It's me who asked. I'm Pragita. We don't know each other. And I want to get rid of a man who is stalking me somehow.
Oh.
I want to get rid of this person, and I tried many things also with manifestation or with energetic thing, because the police cannot help much, so I have to find other ways.
Yeah.
But it's really disturbing me, and I wonder why I'm attracting this. Yeah.
Well, that's a good question, and of course I can't go into a whole thing around it and try and because if we were one-on-one right now, I would definitely go on a deeper level of what might be something there that somehow is calling that in, and I'm sure you're not intentionally doing it or wanting to do it. So what you can do, at least for now, what I would suggest is anyway, I would say whenever we want to, let's say, get rid of something, I would work on the contrary. Yeah, obviously, if it's something in the arm, a frozen shoulder, we would work on, freedom and loosen and fluidity and flow. In your case, I would be working on energetic boundaries. Of course, that's a given. Where you start to feel like. And there's a beautiful guided meditation that I do. Which all my meditations are free. I just don't know how where we have it. Is around what's called the container, and it's as simple as imagining yourself sitting in a sphere like a circle, and the circle could be for you like a protection, and everything outside of that circle you are safe from, and everything that you inside, which is you, and anything you want to bring into that, whether it's an energetic people that you love, or any resources that support you, any visual things that uplift you, that is fully your choice, your domain, because inside that circle you are 100% energetically safe. Yeah, and you're creating that so that you can have a somatic response. And of course, it creates a state change. Yeah, it creates relaxation. It regulates your nervous system. It resources people when I do this particular exercise or meditation. So that's something you could consider doing as a way to kind of almost change the tuning fork of that person into something ultimately that you want, which is your safety, your space, respected, and does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Beauty. So I'm going to share a bit more on by the way, on the 21-day challenge. It's nice if you want to do with someone, even if you're doing it on something different. You can play with someone, but of course you can always do something with yourself. Yeah. But please, guys, if you're able to sit for 5 minutes a day in meditation or in journaling, I highly recommend it. For me, it's meditation. Yeah. Here's a bit of daily affirmations that really support. Nice way of saying things. I focus on my joy daily. Yeah, I'm open to receive abundance from the universe. I'm ready to commit. Some people have a hard time committing. If you have a cynical mind or a judgmental mind, you're going to need to be aware of that part of your head that judges or is cynical, because it's sabotaging you. You're not doing it for someone else. You're not doing this for me. You're doing it for you. So if you have sarcasm and you only let things go so far because you have a mistrust inside of you, you're already sabotaging that the universe can't conspire to support you. And that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. And that's already comes back to what I showed earlier in the slides, to watch for the barriers of beliefs that you have, even if it's a very spiritual, voice that some of us have, having been in this. I mean, I've been in the world of spirituality, quote unquote, whatever that might mean to you, for 49 years, almost 50 years. And I know that voice can get very refined and can turn into a very cynical, but it can only sabotage me if it's not supporting me. So I just want to name that. Please, I know it very well in my own inner dialogue with little Rupda. This is something, if it's okay with you, we take another minute just to write and finish this sentence, because it's a beautiful sentence. In the next 12 months, I am becoming the person who is, and then you fill in the gap. It's a beautiful statement that you can put on your fridge, or you can put anywhere around your house. And you can see I put in a few suggestions: vibrant and healthy, or using their voice, or showing up for kids, or writing a book, or intimate with their partner, or manifesting a dream career, or learning something new, and so on. In the next 12 months, I am becoming the person who is healthy and strong in her body, or playful and giving myself more permission to be light and easy. Okay, so I'm going to move along. Sorry, I can't see your faces, but I'm assuming you're all still there. I put this quote here just now because I just popped it in last minute. And what I wrote here is feel the future. Your emotional state is your manifestation frequency. What you feel frequently becomes your frequency. And it is such a good thing to remember. So if you're someone who is sarcastic or cynical or judgmental or self-doubt or self-deprecating or negative thinking, you're going to create a different frequency than if you're someone who is willing to be open-minded, playful, or trustful, or relaxed, or, having a little bit of openness. Yeah. This is going to have a very different way of how you do life, of course. And that goes for everything. Even if you're in a relationship, how you relate to others, how you relate to people, how you relate to yourself. Yeah. I want to finish with a few things. Well, primarily a guided meditation. So if it's all right with you beauties, we maybe let's focus on a guided meditation, because what I really want to do, and what I put here, if you can see, I wrote at the bottom of the screen here, see it, feel it, believe it, receive it, and act as if it's happening now. This is not my, idea. This has been around for thousands of years. People have been tapping into this. It's very old, and the law of attraction. And it's just something that we either sabotage or we forget, or we maybe don't give enough energy to. Yeah. So I'd love to do something guided right now, very simple. And I'm going to turn off this screen for now. See how I can do this. And maybe, meanwhile, if you can all sit in a position that supports presence, and you don't need to be looking at the screen. It might even be nice if you can close your eyes. If you are driving, please don't close your eyes if you're driving. Yeah. Only closing your eyes if you're in a place where it's okay to close your eyes. Yeah. I'm going to leave that to you. Great. So with your eyes closed, just notice the weight of your body on the surface that you're sitting on. See if you can sense the weight of your body. Maybe you notice where the position of your hands are, or your feet are. Maybe you can even notice your breathing. And internally, just to say a very simple sentence, I am here. I am here. And just welcoming yourself here is a beautiful way when you start any kind of meditation. It's the first thing I do, just to welcome myself here. I am here. And with whatever you might be busy with in your life right now, and even in this moment right now, for some of you, it's easy to be still and to drop in. For some of you, you might have a very busy mind, and it might be a real challenge even just to be still in the body. No judgment, just to observe what you're able to do in this moment. To be able to drop in and tune in and be with yourself is an important step in meeting yourself, meeting your heart's longing, meeting who you are, welcoming yourself. So you did a little bit of an exercise where you had the possibility to write something about what you would like to bring into your life. And I want you to imagine for a moment, whatever that might be, whether it's something very, very big or something very simple, whether it's an object, a form, or whether it's formless and a quality of being. Whatever that is that you wrote down, and even if you wrote down a few things, just to pick one for now, the one that you feel maybe shaky with, excited about, scary about, oh my God, that's a big one. Pick that one. Because I want you to imagine that you're walking right now into a movie theater. And the name of that movie theater, the movie that's coming on the screen, is the very thing that you picked. And you're almost smiling and saying, oh, wow, okay, that's the very thing I picked. And there it is, and that's the big title of what the movie is about to play. So you sit wherever you like to sit in the cinema. I don't know, maybe you sit in the front row, in the middle, or in the back row. And you find yourself sitting, and the screen opens up, and there you see you. And you see this massive image on the screen of you living that very thing that you wanted to experience. Whether it's an embodied experience or having something or doing something, you see yourself on the big screen and you're like, oh, wow, oh God, there it is. And it's almost kind of a smile in your heart because there you see yourself living it. And I really want you to appreciate what you're seeing, almost with such a big gratitude in your heart, because gratitude is the doorway that goes straight into your heart. Just to feel so grateful when you see this image of you living it. Wow. It's just really beautiful. It's happening. And appreciating what you're seeing. Wow, this is the best movie. This is awesome. And you're almost elevating that state inside of you. Even if you have to say it. Wow, I love this movie. This is exactly what I want. And you let yourself enjoy the pleasure of this movie, of seeing yourself living it, whatever it is. The only thing holding you back, you left outside of the movie theater. This is now you getting to have fun and be playful and enjoying seeing what's on that screen. And now, all of a sudden, you notice that the character in the movie, you, is looking at the camera and looking directly at you and is inviting you to come jump into the screen. Huh? You're sitting there, wow, okay. So I'm gonna now jump into this big movie picture. And next thing you know, because we're living in the world of creativity, you step right into that big screen and you're living it. And you're in the movie of manifestation. All around you, almost like a 360 degree, you see yourself living it, whether it's an embodied state or an experience. Wow. Really letting yourself enjoy the moment. Wow, why not? Here I am in it. Oh, this is yummy. This is exactly what I wanted. And if there's other people interacting with you, let yourself interact. Or if it's just you jumping for joy in it, let yourself jump for joy in it. Let the yes come from the heart. The doubt comes from the mind. Let the yes of the joyment of it come from the heart. Wow, yes. This is amazing. I love this. And just took a little simple way to bring this to completion, to bring your hand to your heart and just to say, thank you. Yes, I love this. Thank you. More of this, please. Thank you. Thank you. And for a moment, just a silent moment, let this be felt. Mm. And when you're ready, we can take a breath together and open your eyes. Welcome back, beauties. I just walked you through something very simple, but I do a variation of it every time I want to call in something, and every time my head goes into worrying, I know that it's never serving me. Yeah. Anyone out of just a show of hands, anyone could make a visualization of what it was just to see your hands? Yeah. Okay, great. Great. Well done. So it's very powerful. And I hope that you beauties keep doing that. Please, please, please. It's something that I have, I can share something personal really quick on that. I want to be very mindful of. Thank you too, Beauty. Which is that I'm on the road a lot. And I don't know if some of you know what I do, but basically I'm 365 days of the year, I'm constantly in travel, or I'm stationary for 3 months in one country, or not 3 months, sorry, 3 weeks, 1 month here, 2 weeks there, 1 week here, 1 weekend there. It's constant. I live out of a suitcase all year round. And I remember many years ago, yeah, remembering my, yes, I remember many years ago, I had left a country, one country, and I said goodbye to my then partner, in doing so. And I thought, how am I ever going to meet anyone on the road? Yeah. I'm constantly traveling. And I sat with this inside my heart, thinking it was impossible. And then I know that if I sit with this impossible, I'm going to creating the impossible. So what happened? I decided, of course, to sit with the possible, and I started manifesting, and I had a lot of love hearts around my room. I was even drawing love hearts on my arm in a pen, just like in school days when I was cheating on tests, and it happened, even on the road, even in the most limited possible way I thought it could ever happen. It happened. So, and I'm moving towards 60, guys. So all this blah blah that we tell ourselves that we're to this or to that, and it's all, in my opinion, bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. Because the moment we come to the heart, everything changes. These two different languages and two different landscapes, yeah? So I just want to say that really quick, and I thank you too, Zara. Yes. And I want to share here the screen a last time with you beauties. And hopefully you can see my screen. Let's see if I can do this. Oh yeah, this was again something I mentioned before, but I say it again. Can you still hear me, Erica? You can still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, because my screen's frozen here. Which is please not to focus on the how. Let the universe support you in that. Of course, we're not just sitting doing nothing all day. The how might be that we get the phone call, or we get someone, connects us to someone, or, the right thing comes in the right moment, or something comes into alignment. When we start to really, really, really come into that state of feeling, of believing, and open to receiving, alignment starts to happen. Yeah, I can't say it enough. Yeah. Anyway, so please not to think about the how. This is just something very beautiful I did. I wrote a commitment to myself. This is something you might like to do, where I put it on a piece of paper. I was addicted to something. I was an addict around something, and I made a commitment to not being an addict on something. So I wrote a commitment, and I put that commitment on the wall, and I, held myself responsible and accountable to that commitment. It was very powerful. So if you feel those things can help you, then definitely do it. Whatever helps. I want to say, if any of you want to know more about this, I think you guys know about it. I think most of you coming in from the deep dive, I could be wrong, but please join us in 2026. We're happening. It's a beautiful journey. I can't go into it right now. I don't really want to go into it, but I'm just showing you a brief thing here about deep dive. It's one of the manifestations that I created in my life that has turned my life around, because it's brought me back out on the road again, and it's given me the best job ever that I've ever imagined. I'm living my dream career, and I've got my beautiful, home and partner, and my body as well, and I really have to credit it really because I keep aligning to what's happening inside of me. I keep tuning in. Yeah. And this really has to do with slowing down and being with yourself and being creative and not fearful. And the moment we go to fear, we of course mess everything up. Yeah, it becomes a distortion of who we want to be. There's a bunch of you have already asked me about the training next year. It is happening next year again. This is this year already. And you're very welcome to ask us about that, but you'll find out more on the website. Yeah. I think that is it. Yay, I did it. I'm so happy I did it.
Your camera's off again, so just turn it back on.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. Is it off now? Yes. I was going to try to do this in under an hour, but sorry, I went a little over time. Really?
Thank you.
beauties.
Thank you, Rupda. This was wonderful, Rupda. Thank
Yes,
you.
I hope you start the new year with really braving what it is you really want to align to. Everyone deserves it. Everyone deserves it. And I hope I get to see some of you guys on this journey of doing life together. I have a feeling we will. And yeah, please, for this last moment, before we say goodbye, a little wish from me. Turn on your microphone so I can hear you when you say goodbye, and I can even see you. It would be lovely to see you because some of you have your cameras off. Holy fuck.
Bye,
Everyone
Rupda.
all over the world. I love this shit. I fucking love it. Oh, you gorgeous beauties.
Long
And
live
now
the
I see your
revolution.
faces. Now I can see your faces.
Really.
Ah, you have no idea what this does for me. Even though I'm almost 60 years old, I'm loving this so much.